Hey everybody, Chris Bianchi from the Teacher Protection Group. I'm a teacher in Rochester, New York, and I've been helping teachers advocate for themselves for the past 10 years almost. I've been teaching close to 30. This has been a real tough time for teachers for a lot of reasons, especially teachers with underlying health conditions. I'm a cancer survivor. I'm going to be introducing my buddy Michael Hall in a second, who's also a cancer survivor. And what we'd like to do is talk to people who are being forced back into the classroom with underlying health conditions. We're allowed to teach remotely, or maybe we're denied remote teaching in the beginning of this pandemic. So I'll let Michael introduce himself and tell about his situation, and also give everyone who's got an underlying health condition an option that they probably didn't think of before Michael had an interesting conversation with Randi Weingarten.
Yes, thank you, Chris. I am Michael Hull. I am the founder of the National Educators Resistance Group, Teachers Against Dying, which I encourage everybody to join on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I'm a former history teacher in San Antonio, Texas. I am a cancer survivor, and as such, my doctor made a recommendation. He had a letter and he said, do not return to school. I recommend that this individual doesn't return to in-person instruction based on his underlying health conditions. Initially, I secured the remote accommodation. I worked from home, but then they subjected it to a review and they rescinded it. So even though the class sizes had increased since then, the infection levels in the community had gone up and nothing changed with my health, I was still forced to go back or go on FMLA, which is unpaid. And there are a lot of other teachers in this situation where they're being forced to go against medical advice and choose between their life and their livelihood. And look, a remote accommodation or a doctor's note getting you accommodation should be based on your health as determined by a doctor. It should not be based on the staffing needs of the school or any other reason. So I would like to play this conversation that I had with Miss Randi Weingarten of the American Federation of Teachers. I brought up my story, and this is how she responded. And I would encourage everybody to watch the full exchange, but right now I'm going to show you the clip of this promise that was made to me.
I know that that is not a risk that you either want to tolerate or can tolerate, and I respect you for it. And what we can try to do, if you want, is try to get you the accommodation that you need. But
there it is. Wow. There it is.
So basically, you were able to get some FaceTime, some big time FaceTime, and we're offered the option of having them, her personally, possibly try to get you the accommodations retroactively, right?
Yeah, and so my first thought is, what about, because I told her about a friend I had in this situation that actually caught coronavirus and got very sick and has permanent lung damage. And I'm thinking about all the stories we hear on Teachers Against Dying, all these people that have lost their remote accommodations. What makes me so special that I get an accommodation just because I got an audience with her? Anybody that's paying dues should be entitled to the same benefits. And if she can fight for me in Texas,
that's a great point. Yep. That's a great point.
Yes,
you're right. That offer should be there for everybody. So I think you're right. Everyone should have that opportunity, and let's give, AFT an opportunity to step up for anyone who contacts them. So you got some information that you want to share for anyone that sort of is in that group of people with underlying health conditions that are trying to be forced back against their doctor's advice. So what do you suggest people do if you're paying dues?
Well, what I suggest people do is reference this town hall. You saw Miss Randi Weingarten in the town hall tell Michael Hull, I will fight to get your accommodation. And so as a dues paying member, I feel entitled to the same fight as Mr. Hull. And I would either email her mail her through the US Postal Service, or I would go on her Twitter handle and just bug her with this
Yeah,
request.
squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? I agree with you. It's nice that you're a good man for not just saying, hey, I'm taken care of, and you getting this information out to everybody to do the same thing. I think you've got a great point. So let's give everyone that information where they can find some templates and stuff, and bounce out and then see what happens.
All right, well, in the description of this video, I'm going to put the template, and I'm going to put her email and mailing address as well as her Twitter handle. And so it's going to be real convenient. You just copy paste, plug in your name, your school district, and I would suggest putting your union ID number as well. I would also encourage people in NEA and other teacher groups to reference this and ask, can I get an accommodation? Will you please fight for me? Because if there was ever a time that we needed the unions to step up and fight for us, it's right now. So that's going to be linked there for your convenience, or write your own. But I would reference this video, and I would also, again, encourage people to watch that full exchange that we had. And also, I'd encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the Facebook group Teachers Against Dying, because we have some big developments coming up that I'll let Chris talk about in the future that we're working on.
Absolutely. And I think that giving the unions the opportunity to step up, is the right call, and contacting them and asking them for their assistance as members who pay dues is completely appropriate. And I'm glad that Michael brought this to everyone's attention. And yeah, we're going to be able to start relying on each other even more as teachers supporting teachers. So look for more information from Michael and myself in the near future. But right now, if you do have these conditions, send that information out and let us know what happens. All right. Thank you for your time, everybody. Stay tough.